I sat here and repeatedly heard him.
Honorable Minister.
At the top of his voice. And he said to me, as a practitioner of LGBT, that every single last one of you is behaving as if you didn't hear it. And if in response to that, I say he is mad. It is only a madman who will refer to his colleague in this house as a practitioner of LGBTQ. When you haven't seen me having sexual intercourse with your wife or your daughter or your mother.
Tonight, fireworks in Parliament as Communications Minister Eslo Wusu-Ekufo explodes with outrage on the floor, branding his colleague MP mad after she was accused of being a lesbian in a private conversation picked up by the microphone.
That a statement that is purportedly made, not captured in the speaker, should be a statement of the House.
Honorable member.
Mr. Speaker, now if you're asking me to withdraw any statement, I don't know which statement you're asking me to withdraw.
We are live in Parliament where MPs have been debating the controversial anti-gay bill. We tell you what happened when the Speaker challenged MPs opposed to the bill to stand up and be counted.
With the submission just made that all the 275 are in support of the bill, anybody who disagrees, be on your feet and I will recognize you.
This is Top Story with Evans Mensah.
And Top Story is always brought to you by Vodafone. It was a dramatic spectacle on the floor of Parliament today when a microphone caught MP for Tamale Central and former Deputy Trade Minister Murtala Mohammed describing the Communications Minister as a lesbian. Members of Parliament have been debating the controversial anti-gay bill. Parliament's Constitutional and Legal Affairs Committee had presented a consensus report asking the House to pass the bill. Both NDC and MPP MPs, in a rare show of unanimity, had been on their feet one after the other in support of the bill until the microphone caught Murtala Mohammed's comments about the Communications Minister. Eslo Wusu-Ekufo exploded with outrage, branding the MP for Tamale Central mad.
And repeatedly heard Honorable Murtala refer to me as a practitioner of LGBT to the hearing of everyone in the house. I sat here and repeatedly heard him.
Honorable Minister.
At the top of his voice. And refer to me as a practitioner of LGBT. And every single last one of you is behaving as if you didn't hear it. And if in response to that, I say he is mad. It is only a madman who will refer to his colleague in this house as a practitioner of LGBTQ. When you haven't seen me having sexual intercourse with your wife or your daughter or your mother.
Honorable Minister.
When you haven't caught me having sexual intercourse with your wife or your daughter or your mother.
Honorable
you sit there and refer to me in those terms. In those terms.
Honorable Minister.
And we call ourselves honorable members of this house. When you all hear it and pretend that suddenly you've lost your sense of hearing.
Honorable Minister.
Let's go to Parliament now. Let's understand what really happened today on the floor. My parliamentary correspondent, Kweku Asante, was there for us and joins us now. Kweku, did you really hear the comments by Murtala Mohammed? Was it that audible?
I did not, Evans. In fact, if you look at the way the seating arrangement is in the House, Murtala Mohammed sits a little bit closer to the Honorable Kwame Dafe-Amepo, and he was the one on the floor at the time making his debating the report of the committee. It was then that Honorable Ibrahim Murtala Mohammed is accused to have muttered some words which did not go down well with the MP for for Ablikuma West and Communications Minister. She did not even draw the attention first. It was the second deputy speaker who actually stopped Honorable Ache Kwame Dafemekpo and said that he had heard Honorable Murtala make some comments and asked him to withdraw. It was that moment that Esla also got up, flared up very angry, and said that she had heard Murtala refer to her as a practitioner of LGBTQ, and she was not excited about that at all.
So, in effect, it wasn't the communications minister who first raised this subject. Yes,
it was actually the second deputy speaker who actually stopped Honorable Roxy Nelson Dafemekpo, was making the point and said that he had heard the MP for Tamale Central making a certain point and asked him to withdraw it.
Although Murtala Mohammed was not on the floor, he was seated.
Exactly. Murtala was not speaking into the mic. He was he was seated close to Honorable Roxy Nelson Dafemekpo, who was making his debate on the specifics of the report that had been laid on the floor.
I mean, did Esla get any support from her colleagues when she stood up to confront Murtala Mohammed?
No, she did not. In fact, she was really incensed. A number of MPs around her tried to calm her down, but she was really incensed. She was shouting at the top of her voice that is not something that she would tolerate, and that she did not believe that the Honorable MP for Tamale Central, Honorable Murtala Mohammed, was acting responsibly by accusing her of being an LGBTQ practitioner.
How did the speaker handle this then? You've said that he intervened and asked Roxanne Dafemekpo to sit down and then also directed the issue at Murtala Mohammed to withdraw. How did Murtala react to that?
So Murtala was not excited at all that he was being asked to withdraw something that he had not said. He said that he had not said anything into the mic, and that if he was being asked to withdraw some comments, then which comments are they asking him to withdraw? Because as far as he is concerned, he has not made any comment. But the speaker said, the deputy speaker, second deputy speaker, I should emphasize, said that he had heard him say something, and he wanted him to withdraw that.
And the last time I checked, our conduct here is guided by the Constitution and the standing orders of the House. And there is nowhere in the standing orders or the practice of this Parliament that I have seen in my young age in this Parliament that a statement that is purportedly made, not captured in the speaker, should be a statement of the House.
Honorable member.
Mr. Speaker. Now, if you are asking me to withdraw any statement, I don't know which statement you are asking me to withdraw. I am only withdrawing a statement which perhaps the speaker had me make, and I don't know the statement you had me make. So I am withdrawing a statement.
Honorable Murtala, don't push me to that angle. I overheard you. I'm saying just withdraw from me.
Mr. Speaker, with all due respect, you cannot ask me to do something and I refuse to do so. Several statements were made, which one? By myself and my colleagues, including Honorable Esrausi. Which of the statements are you asking me to withdraw?
So, are you inviting me to say what is to be said? Honorable Murtala, member for Tamale Central, I'm saying what you said that just withdraw from me.
Kweku, so it was at this point that Esla Wusu stood on her own feet and then exploded, went all out. Hello, Kweku. Do we still have Kweku on the line?
Hello?
Okay, we'll try and get his attention because we really need to put this in proper context, because I understand as this proceeded, the Speaker of Parliament managed to get some form of an agreement of a withdrawal of a sort as far as this matter is concerned. Kweku is with me now. Kweku, I'm asking you. We just listened to the interaction between the second deputy speaker and Murtala Mohammed, who of course was raising issues with the speaker's approach. Is it after that we heard from Esla?
So Esla came in right after that, really not happy that she was also being asked to withdraw certain comments that she had made, and in particular, she took on again the specifics of the allegation that she made against the Honorable Murtala Mohammed. But did
Murtala Mohammed himself eventually eat humble pie on this, or she stood his ground, refusing to acknowledge what the speaker claims he had heard?
Well, indeed, after several tries by the deputy speaker, Murtala Mohammed actually caved in and said that if the speaker is asking him to withdraw the comments, then he was going to withdraw them. And then later on, the speaker actually then decided that any said comment, he's directing that it be expunged from the record.
I have made. I am withdrawing every single statement. But Mr. Speaker, it is fair that Honorable Esilowusu, strangely, the Honorable former minister seated by her is not aware she made some statement. Also withdraw every statement she made.
If you are finished, it's okay. Honorable Minister, can you apologize for the gestures that you...
And how did Esla react to that?
Esla also came in a little bit not so excited that she was also being asked to withdraw or apologize for being, in her own words, legitimately angry that some of those comments had been made against her person.
And the constituent members of Parliament, and with respect to the titles that we bear and the constituencies that we represent, if there's any gesture I made which anyone here finds offensive, I withdraw. However, let us all also be honest and admit that certain things happen here which are wrong.
Thank you very much. Honorable Minister, thank you very much.
Well, that's Esilowusu Akufo there, who is a communications minister. Thankfully, we can speak to Murtala Mohammed pretty quickly, who joins us right now. Mr. Mohammed, thanks for your time here on Top Story. We had Esilowusu Akufo on the floor. She really went ballistic on this. The outreach that we had, many people maybe have not heard what she said and how angry she was. This was her.
And repeatedly heard Honorable Murtala refer to me as a practitioner of LGBT to the hearing of everyone in the country. I sat here and repeatedly heard him.
Honorable Minister.
Shout at the top of his voice and refer to me as a practitioner of LGBT. And every single last one of you is behaving as if you didn't hear it. And if in response to that I say he is mad, it is only a madman who will refer to his colleague in this house as a practitioner of LGBTQ. When you haven't seen me having sexual intercourse with your wife or your daughter or your mother.
Honorable Minister.
When you haven't caught me having sexual intercourse with your wife or your daughter or your mother.
Honorable
you sit there and refer to me in those terms. In those terms.
Honorable Minister.
And we call ourselves honorable members of this house. When you all hear it and pretend that suddenly you've lost your sense of hearing.
Honorable Minister.
I mean, Murtala, since the apology on the floor, have you spoken to her afterwards in furtherance of your attempt to reconcile, make some peace going forward?
Well, Ivan, first and foremost, let me say good evening to your cherished listeners. And I guess yourself, including your listeners, would have noticed the vulgar with which Esilowusu ranted, said, my mother, my wife, my daughter. I mean, she's one of the reasons why I have repeatedly said I don't want to be addressed as a member of Parliament. Evans, Parliament is guided by three things. Our conduct in Parliament is guided by the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, the standing orders, and the best practices in Parliament. There is nowhere in the standing orders of Parliament or the practices of Parliament that says that if a statement is made off mic, it becomes an official statement of the House. That's the first statement I want to make. So there's nowhere in the standing orders or the Constitution. And we have had several instances where statements are made by members of Parliament. As long as the mic is off, it is not recorded. Two, I never use the word practitioner, never. And in fact, when the speaker asked me to withdraw, I wanted to find out from the speaker which of the statements he wanted me to withdraw. I made several statements. So even before I withdrew, I said the only statement I made, which I think the speaker is asking me to withdraw, was that I said that every single member of parliament should be allowed to debate the matter we were discussing, that is the bill, and that no one should be allowed to sit on the fence, and that you are either for the bill or you are against the bill, and that those who refuse to support the bill, then everybody will know their positions. And in fact, Ursula probably has a position I do not know. Tell me how this becomes a serious matter.
You did not mention her name in that comment.
Never. You can check. And that is why when the speaker said that I should withdraw, I wanted to find out from the speaker which of the statements. Because when even the Fiamako was speaking, Ursula was also speaking across the aisle to the Fiamako off mic. And in fact, at a point, Ursula gestured, "You people are mad, you are mad." She did that. But as long as the state, in fact, when the Fiamako was speaking, because the Fiamako made a statement in reference to her contribution, and she was saying that you people are mad, you are mad. But as long as that statement was not made in the mic, you cannot say Ursula should withdraw.
I mean, but why then did you apologize? If indeed
no, I didn't
you
apologize
did
for making the statement Ursula claimed I made. I didn't apologize. I said I am withdrawing every single statement I have made before the speaker asked me to withdraw, because I wanted to know from the speaker which of the statements he had I made that he wanted me to withdraw. So the speaker could not pinpoint a specific statement he wanted me to withdraw. So initially I said the speaker should tell me which statement I made he wanted me to withdraw. The speaker could not tell me.
I listened to the speaker, and it appeared to me that he was uncomfortable repeating the words you may have used.
No,
because he kept on telling you,
word?
do you want him to repeat what you've said? And he hesitated.
No, but which word? And that is why I am saying that
the words that Ursula attributes to you.
Which word?
That you accused her of being a practitioner
that
of
LGBTQ. That was Ursula's statement, and I can tell you, I never used the word practitioner. Never. In fact, I don't know the last time I used the word practitioner. There was no word like that, practitioner. I never said that. In fact, what I said, and you remember, if you go through the audio properly, before I withdrew, I said, Mr. Speaker, since you can't tell me specifically which word or which statement you want me to withdraw, I think that it has to do with the statement that, as I said, Mr. Speaker, allow every member of parliament to debate on the issue so that we know the position of every MP. Perhaps it's a case of who the cap fits. I never mentioned Ursula's name. I never said that, Ursula, you are a practitioner. When we sit across the aisle, we all talk. People talk. Sometimes, look, when Honorable Afenyo was speaking, you had the minority chief whip who was also speaking across the aisle, but it was not captured in the mic. Sometimes the minority leader was speaking. Honorable Afenyo was also pointing and speaking. The speaker could not have said that because you said they withdraw. You can't. That is why the practice is that any statement that is made off the mic, it is deemed not to be a statement made in Parliament, because the Hansard captures only statements that are captured by the mic. So if you make a statement while the mic is off, Parliament wouldn't have even that time to talk about it.
I mean, I know you say you didn't use the words that Ursula claims you did.
I never said she's a practitioner of LGBT.
But many will say, considering that this is something that you were speaking about and talking to your colleagues about and wasn't in the mic, this is a convenient way of just
in fact, I wasn't the only person speaking. From our side, we were all speaking. From their side, they were also speaking, including Ursula. I told you at a point when the Fiamako was speaking, Ursula was gesturing. More bodam means you are mad. Is that not the case?
But and this is an accusation leveling at her, and she was also not speaking into the microphone.
Everybody had her, including our side.
Well,
but
you
see, the reason why we didn't make it fast.
But she also says that although you were also speaking to the mic, this is exactly what you were saying about her, that she is a practitioner. The speaker, of course, didn't specify what you said, but it was clear that you said something that required immediate action, which is asking you to withdraw.
You say?
Both the speaker, who clearly states that he had you say something that he believed was wrong and inappropriate.
No,
and then
but the
Esla
speaker
comes
could
and
not
asks
tell
a
me which
specific.
he heard me say. Evans, it is not about what the speaker heard. It is about the speaker telling me, I heard you say this. And you remember, I was insisting the speaker should tell me which of the statements, because I made several statements and several people made several statements. So I was asking the speaker to tell us. But in any case, I withdrew. And you remember when I was with, I said, look, Mr. Speaker, since you can't tell me which specific statement you want me to withdraw, I'm withdrawing every single
But
statement
I find it curious, Muta. I know you. I mean, if you did not utter a word that was out of place, you would not have withdrawn.
Evans, I said I wasn't withdrawing any statement. If you observed, even at the point the speaker said, look, you are my friend, withdraw. I said, which statement? But you see, I didn't want it to appear as if I was debating and arguing with the speaker. So if you observed, my leader even got up, came to me, and I said the speaker should tell me which statement he wanted me to withdraw. The speaker could not tell me. But you see, sometimes I just withdrew to allow sanity to prevail, and that is why I didn't withdraw a specific statement.
But that withdrawal, you admit, is an admission of guilt.
No, it is not an admission of guilt. It is not. I said that, Mr. Speaker, since you can't tell me which statement you want me to withdraw, then I'm withdrawing every single statement I made since I entered into the chamber up to the time that thing happened. It is not an admission of guilt.
So you withdrew. You withdrew. Esla also apologized. You accept her apology?
No, she refused to apologize. She refused to do so.
Well, I mean, I have what she said here. This is what she said exactly.
And the constituent members of parliament, and with respect to the titles that we bear and the constituencies that we represent, if there's any gesture I made which anyone here finds offensive, I withdraw. However, let us all also...
So she also withdrew, just as you did.
The speaker asked her to withdraw a specific statement which the speaker could not state. You see, the same logic with which you were asking me that I withdrew, and I said the speaker could not tell me the specific statement he wanted me to withdraw, is the same thing that is applicable to what Esla did. The speaker said, withdraw the statement you made. And he said that if any member finds offensive, it is not about any member. It is about the speaker directing you to apologize. The speaker was not even asking her to withdraw. The speaker was asking her to apologize. There's a sharp difference between, there's a sharp difference between withdrawing and apologizing.
She withdrew in the end. And I
say the speaker asked her to apologize. You heard the speaker. It was not about withdrawing. The speaker said, apologize. That's different. But the speaker told me, withdraw the statement. I said, which statement? So for sanity to prevail in the House, and my leadership insisted that, look, I should just withdraw every statement I made. If you observed, the minority leader came to me, the minority chief, they all came to me and said, look, just withdraw every statement you have made so that we proceed. So my withdrawal was that I was withdrawing every statement I made right from the time I entered the chamber till that time, because the speaker could not tell me. But the speaker didn't ask her to withdraw. The speaker said, apologize. And Evans, did she apologize?
Well, this is what the speaker asked her to do.
It's okay. Honorable Minister, can you apologize for the gestures that you...
Yeah, so she was asked to apologize. What she actually did was to withdraw. But I guess both of you need to move forward. I'm asking on the back of her withdrawal, your withdrawal as well. Have you managed, both of you, post this to shake hands?
No, in fact, she left the chamber right after this unfortunate brouhaha. She left the chamber. Even when she left, I asked Mr. Speaker, where is my friend Esla Owusu? And everybody was laughing. If Esla was going to be in the chamber till we finish, I would have extended a handshake, and I don't know whether she would have accepted that. Because some of these things happen. And Evans, let's get something very clear. Any statement that is made off mic, it is not a statement that is deemed to be a statement of Parliament. That's one thing. Any statement that is made off mic. Because the Hansard will not capture any statement that is made off mic. And for the avoidance of doubt, and I want to repeat this, just as I said on the floor, the statement I made, I said, Mr. Speaker, every single member should be allowed to debate the matter so that we know the position of every member of parliament. No one should be allowed to sit on the fence. You are either for the motion or you are against the motion. This was the statement I made. So if Esther took offense, perhaps she was already waiting to take offense. And maybe it's a case of who the kafir. And I can tell you, without any shred of doubt, I never use the word a practitioner of LGBTQ.
Well, thank you very much, Murtala Mohammed, there on the floor of Parliament today, in a bit of a pickle when it came to the debate and what he said or allegedly said. You've heard him deny categorically that he had uttered the words attributed to him by the communications minister. You can make of that what you will. And of course, the substantive matter, though, was a debate on the anti-gay bill, which was before the House today. We will be back live in Parliament on Newsnight, where the MPs have been debating that bill. We'll tell you what happened when the Speaker challenged MPs opposed to the bill to stand up and be counted.
With the submission just made that all the 275 are in support of the bill, anybody who disagrees, be on your feet and I will recognize you.
Hey, you ever buy credits where you get up to 20% of your money back before? Make I tell you about Vodafone's demo promo. See, anytime you recharge a demo, you get up to 20%, whether it be short code or your Vodafone cash wallet, or you don't use credit transfer to your number or someone else. And now you be high tech, so you don't use my Vodafone app or any payment app. However you do, Vodafone go send you up to 20% cash back. Into your Vodafone cash account. We'll reload the app, but then you enter. Top up your airtime with 5 Ghana CD or more in Vodafone's demo promotion and receive 20% of your money back straight into your Vodafone cash wallet. Recharge and cash out in the Vodafone demo promotion.
Vodafone, further together.
Wouldn't you prefer an apartment hotel? One that offers the utmost convenience of a boutique hotel while offering the idyllic comfort of your own private home. Oasis Park Residences offers luxury studios, 1, 2 and 3 bedrooms both for short and long-term rental at competitive rates. Our sky swimming pool, gourmet outdoor restaurant and a fully equipped gym rest on a breathtaking rooftop with panoramic views of the city. Oasis Park Residences, located at Shiashi, Tetekwashi, 10 minutes from the international airport, is the ideal place for all your accommodation needs. Why don't you give us a call on 020-4343-009 or visit our website at oasisparkresidences.com to make your reservations. Oasis Park Residences, more than a home.
I've got Bell back and I won't let go.
My name is Nana McBrown. Many people think I get what I want anytime because I am popular. No, that is not true. It is because me and Kasano, I like the best, and when I find it, I stick to it. I have found Bell Pack Tea Roll, and I'm stuck with it. It is soft but not weak, strong but not hard. It is just perfect. Bell Pack Tea Roll is smooth and gentle on the skin. Same as Bell Pack Kitchen Towel. It cleans in one wipe. You can soak, squeeze, and clean again. One Bell Pack Kitchen Towel lasts longer and saves you money. It's time you switch to Bell Pack today and experience the perfect paper tissue, say pocket tissue, table napkins, tea roll, and a kitchen towel. Bell Pack is simply the best. Bell Pack, just perfect.
To be a Bell Pack distributor, call 055-11-44400. Another quality product from Bell Aqua.
Nothing feels so good like Bell Pack.
On Newsnight tonight, MPs in rare show of unanimity as they back anti-gay bill on the day Constitutional and Legal Affairs Committee presented a consensus report asking Parliament to pass the bill. But with 3 cases before the courts challenging the bill, can Parliament proceed? We tell you what happened when the Speaker challenged MPs opposed to the bill to stand up and be counted.
With the submission just made that all the 275 are in support of the bill. Anybody who disagrees, be on your feet and I will recognize you.
Also tonight, members of the Food Suppliers Association prepare to spend a second night on the premises of the National Food Buffer Stock Company as they vow they will not move an inch unless they are paid the 270 million cedis arrears owed them.
We are not picketing only for today. We are going to be here till tomorrow next. If our money is not paid, we want to be here, we want to live here.
We have details already. 3 members of the group have fallen sick with no response from the buffer stock company. Also tonight.
Yes, and that's why I'm saying that we have to tackle the main source, which is the assembly. They are looking on. We have given them the signals.
Also tonight, Eastern Regional Minister orders property owners on the Pidiase Mountain to take immediate remedial measures to stop stones and sand from falling off onto the road to avert a looming disaster in the area.
We have spoken to the owners of this property. This is a private property, and they need to, as a matter of urgency, raise a solid defense wall.
We have details as the Ghana Highway Authority blames assemblies for allowing the wrong siting of these buildings. And tonight also, West African Gas Pipeline Company rescinds decision to suspend transportation of natural gas to GNPC over a $13 million debt as it engages government to resolve the matter permanently. We have details of that also in business.
Ghana said for first IMF program review in September this year, a move that could see the country secure $600 million before the end of 2023.
And in sports, Ghana is on course to host the continent's best ever Africa Games. That's according to local organizing committee chairman Dr. Ofosu Asari.
And then also Presec Legon set their sights on the ultimate prize as they embark on a relentless campaign to claim their 8th NSMQ national trophy after dismantling Accra Academy and 2 others in the NSMQ regional championship for the 4th time in a row.
And let's start in Parliament, shall we? And as you know, the debate has been raging today on the floor on the day when the Parliament's Constitutional and Legal Affairs Committee presented that report on that anti-gay bill. And in that report, the committee chair read and presented to the House. It was unanimous. Both sides of the committee, NDC and MPP, were emphatic that the House should pass it. This is the chairman of that committee, Animwaa Anim-Addo, addressing the House today when he presented their report.
In response to the concerns and sentiments of the general public towards the opening of Advocacy Resource Center by the LGBTQ community, some members of Parliament decided to introduce a private member's bill. In the view of the proponents, the activists of LGBTQ+ threatens the concept of family and the associated value systems that are central to the social-cultural of all ethnic groups in Ghana. They avert that the concept of family for Ghanaians has always been a unit of society initiated by marriage between a man and a woman, each of whose gender is assumed at birth. And I would add that to the exclusion of all others. The proponents further argued that the Marriage Act 1884 to 1995, Cap 127, is silent on the required sex marriage partners. In their explanation, the law could only contemplate marriage as a union between a man and a woman whose sex is determined at birth. However, with the increasing blurring of the concept of male and female as a result of the activities of LGBTQ+, the absence of a clear language on the accepted sex of marriage partners could create challenges for the implementation of CAP 127.
Well, that's the chairman of the Constitutional Legal Affairs Committee. In the end, the conclusion was that the committee, both NDC and MPP sides of that committee, were unanimous that the House should pass this particular bill. On the floor, so today, was the former Minority Chief Whip Muntaka Mubarak, who is MP for Sassy. He was clear that there is no way the House would end its meeting this term and not approve it.
Very worried that those who had been canvassing for this, for lack of better word, madness to be allowed to continue in our country are not averting to their minds to three things. And I will always say the first thing, regardless of which other human being you are, there's something you believe. Whatever you believe, whether you are a Christian, you are a Muslim, you are a Buddhist, you are a pagan, you believe in something. What has your scripture said about this? The LB and all the Q's and T's that are attached to it. What has the scripture said about that? Well, Mr. Speaker, as we speak, I remember very well that I was part of, myself and Honorable Dambuchi, were part of those who went to inspect this gadget that we are speaking through. And Mr. Speaker, it has a manual. The manual of how to use it, how to put it on, how to put it off. It has a manual. If we decide that, yes, we've gone to procure this gadget, but we want to use it anyhow, I don't think it will be working.
I want to bring in our parliamentary correspondent, Kweku Asante, joins us. Kweku, was there any opposition at all while MPs debated this?
Hello, Evan.
Was there any opposition on the floor, Kweku?
None at all. In fact, at some point, the Speaker of Parliament said he was tired of hearing only views in support of the bill. So he threw the challenge to the entirety of Parliament that if there was any MP who was opposed to the bill, he should get up.
The submission just made that all the 275 are in support of the bill. Anybody who disagrees, be on your feet and I will recognize you.
Did any MP dare to stand up?
In fact, no one got up on his feet. He actually threw that challenge again the second time. There was not a single MP on his feet to speak against the promotion, the anti-LGBTQ bill. In fact, a number of MPs had been making submissions and saying that if that was so, and if all 275 MPs were in support of the bill, then they should just ram the bill through, get it under a certificate of urgency, and pass it even by the close of today.
Well, that's a parliamentary affairs correspondent, Kweku Asante. Thank you so much there. Let's bring in a key proponent of this particular bill, Ningo Prampram MP Sam George. We are grateful for your time here on Newsnight. I am sure this is the kind of progress you're looking for when it comes to this particular bill. Is that the case? Hello, Mr. Sam George. Okay. Do we have Mr. Sam George? Okay, it looks like we don't have Sam George, but let me bring in the chairman of the Constitutional and Legal Affairs Committee, Mr. Animwaa. We are grateful for your time. Just yesterday, we weren't too sure whether the second reading was going to happen. Thankfully, it did. Did you get the kind of reaction that you were expecting when you did that second reading?
Good evening to your listeners. Yes, I got it, especially to you, press, because at the beginning, anything I said, it was misconstrued. And I said that lawmaking is a process. It is not an event. People were expecting that within 3 days we should have passed it. But now, having presented the report, I am sure the members of the public, Ghanaians in general, have seen the Herculean task and the work that had gone into the consideration of the the bill at the committee level. So I was happy that we got the opportunity to present it today.
Second reading done. At least there was no dissent when it came to this particular debate of the report. What then happens? Where are we going next after this?
Well, the second reading is when we talk about the principles governing the bill. So you overhead as the normal circumstance, it will be for and against. But here we didn't get any person dissenting on the proposed bill. And so we're going to look at the amendments that we have made. And the Speaker prompted us that he may refer it back to us for the proposal that we had practiced and had owned up, and we want to rehabilitate the person. We have to, if the person would want to go to hospital, for instance, and the Speaker is saying that, well, the health facilities from all the churches and Muslim communities, they have the health facilities and they want to bring them on board. We, as a committee, would have to meet the religious leaders and take a decision on that. The question, it came up during our deliberations at the committee level. What we're not sure is whether we could legislate on this and put it in the law. So we may have to reconsider it, but we are grateful to anybody that helped us to do that. There was a lot of work from hearing, public hearings, up to consideration of the bill itself at the committee level. It was a lot of work, and we are very grateful that members of committee and the proponents of the bill were there throughout to support the committee.
Mr. Animwaa, do you have at least 3 cases pending before the courts seeking to stop or correct or get the courts to intervene on aspects of this particular bill? Are you really in the clear in your attempt to proceed with this bill when these cases are still pending before the courts?
I'm not aware that there is any case pending before the courts.
Well, there was one yesterday, the latest one, which came down to 3.
Well, I'm not aware of that, and I cannot speak to that.
But by this, are you saying that the attention of the committee and Parliament, for that matter, has not been drawn to these 3 cases that are currently pending before the courts?
Now, I am not aware. As the chairman of the committee, nobody had drawn my attention to any court proceedings. So I'm not aware of that.
So you're proceeding as if these cases don't exist, because they do exist.
Why I have not had any hint about this case. So when I'm proceeding on. If I've not been served or nobody has prompted me that this would not allow me to proceed, then I cannot on my own. I mean, I'm hearing it from you the second time that there's a case in court, but I haven't seen the reach.
Well, you are acting on Parliament's behalf. The Speaker of Parliament is cited in at least one of these cases. That is, Parliament has been cited. Whether you're aware or not,
I would have loved to be the Speaker, but unfortunately I'm not the Speaker, so if he is aware, I'm not aware of it.
The Speaker hasn't drawn your attention to it too.
The Speaker hasn't said anything to me yet on that, so far as court cases are concerned.
So as far as you're concerned, there's nothing stopping Parliament, your committee, from proceeding to pass this?
I don't know the nature of the case, if there is a case pending before court. So it will be very difficult for me to speak on that.
Are you confident this will be passed in this meeting?
Well, we are on the process, but I have my doubts because we have a lot of pending issues before us. So depending on what leadership will decide, there isn't much in the bill, but there are other considerations that we need to do. And the Speaker hinted that today. So even if we don't pass it this meeting, I'm very certain that our next meeting will pass it.
Thank you very much.
But if you say this meeting, I don't know if you are talking about the term of Parliament. Then that one I will say that, yes, I'm positive.
I'm grateful for that clarity. So in this term of parliament, he's absolutely setting. What he's not setting about is whether they will get it in this particular meeting. I want to bring in Sam George now. Sam George is a member of parliament for Ningo Pram. He's one of the proponents of this particular bill, the sponsors of this bill, and joins us right now. Mr. George, happy with progress of work, confident that this will eventually get passage in this meeting?
Pretty much. Good evening to your listeners. But we're extremely excited, and let me express my profound gratitude on my behalf and on behalf of my co-sponsors to the Speaker of Parliament, the Right Honourable Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagbin, for standing with us and shepherding this process to the stage where we've gotten today to complete the second reading and get the approval of the report of the committee. We're pretty confident that the consideration stage shouldn't take more than 48 hours at a maximum, 2 days of sitting, because majority of the proposed amendments are objects of agreement between us as sponsors and the committee. I'd say about 95% of the amendment. So very little room for debate when it comes to the amendment. So we should be able to pull through within 2 days, barring any filibustering attempt on the floor of the House.
Are you concerned at all about the pendency of at least 3 cases against this particular bill?
Absolutely not. I mean, the judiciary is vested with the power constitutionally to interpret legislation and not to engage in the formation of legislation. I mean, the fact that we're even engaging and entertaining a suit against the Speaker and Parliament in the exercise of its function is an abuse of our court system, and the court should just throw this out. Can you imagine the court giving a directive to the President that a matter that is before Cabinet, he and his Cabinet cannot discuss it because a farmer has come to challenge the jurisdiction or ability of the President and his Cabinet to carry out that kind of conversation? That's exactly what we're doing here. By anyone inviting the court to direct Parliament not to carry out its own processes of passing legislation. I mean, that would be the day we sound the death knell of our democracy. And I believe that the judiciary would not be invited, will not accent to this invitation to dance a dance of shame.
Thank you very much. That's Sam George, is Member of Parliament for Ningo Pram and one of the sponsors of the bill.
Now it's sundown, Evans, and members of the National Food Suppliers Association are getting ready to spend a second night on the premises of the National Food Buffer Stock Company. Joy News is learning that 3 of the members are already unwell after spending the night there and have been taken to the hospital. The members who arrived from all parts of the country have vowed they will not move an inch unless they are paid the 270 million cedis owed the food suppliers. They've supplied food to senior high schools across the country from 2021 to 2023, and they've not been paid this 270 million cedis. My colleague Prince Kwame Kudoga and Maxwell Agbagba have been monitoring this situation. Maxwell joins us in studio. Maxwell, we understand the members of the National Food Suppliers Association stepped on the premises of the National Food Buffer Stock Company last night, and they're planning to do so tonight as well. Tell us more.
Exactly, Emefa. They slept on the hard concrete floor yesterday. Some of them just had duvets to cover themselves. Some of them had to do so in plastic chairs. In fact, we saw some of them applying mosquito repellent before going to bed, but that did not stop mosquitoes from feasting on their bodies. Some of them did not have pillows at all. They slept on benches there on the premises. They only had water very close to them. So during the night, some of them would just grab their bottles of water and then drink them. But they came there with their cooking utensils as well. They had their stoves, they had their bags of rice, they had their beddings. I'm talking about blankets, bed sheets, and all of that at the premises of the National Food Buffer Stock Company. And we understand that it's going to continue today as well.
And some of them are already ill? What more do you know about that?
Exactly. So we understand 3 of them are unwell and were rushed to the Cocoa Clinic today. One of them is Madam Bailey's. She's from the Greater Accra region. One, Cecilia Anand from the Central region, is also unwell. And then Kate Adobe, also from the OT region, also unwell. 3 of them rushed to the Cocoa Clinic today.
And in all this, what has the National Food Buffer Stock said about this particular pitching of camp of these food suppliers at their company?
Well, we've not had any response from the company yet. We've been trying to reach the CEO, but the phone is not going through. We've tried speaking to the deputy CEO. We are unable to reach him. We're directed to contact the corporate affairs manager. We've not been successful with that as well, too.
Well, that's Maxwell Agbagba there with details of what we've been finding out when it comes to this National Food Buffer Stock Company issue with their suppliers. The group is also accusing the company of sidelining them and giving the supply contract to their friends and cronies. Let's hear the secretary of the group, Patrick Ifa.
Now they have divided the work into two. Education is doing half, and then Buffer Stock 2 is doing half. Now, can you imagine this separation that has come? We, the suppliers, the old suppliers, they fall on us. And then they have their groups that they should do the work for. And then we are aside, we are put it aside. You are owing us, but you get money to pay them. Now, the new people that they have formed, that are supplying, I want to challenge them, and I want government to come and check in their books. How many times they have paid them this year? They have paid them like 3 times. You are owing us. Why can you do that? Why do you do that? You are owing us. You haven't paid. But now you pay people. Now do you know what they do? They intentionally create the shortage of food in the schools. I'm challenging them. I'm telling them, if they like, they should come and tell us why emergency shortage happened or emergencies happen in the secondary schools. Why secondary schools are not having food? Do you know why? They will wait. They won't give the money to the suppliers. They will wait. When there's the schools are crying, then they will give money, physical money, to their own people. They will select the people they have to give the money to, so that they'll go and supply direct. Why you are owing us? Pay us and we do the work, because when you didn't have money, the government didn't have money. We use our own money to supply, right? So why, if you have money now, you can supply. Why don't you call the supplier? Give us the money so that we supply for you. You go and select people that you like.
And therefore, we covered extensively when this challenge spilled over into the schools and left many of the senior high schools without food for days. It took chance to fight for that problem to be solved. Currently, what we don't know is how bad the situation is in the schools. Let's bring in a man who has been studying this and getting his own committee to look into this a bit more. He's a deputy ranking member on the education committee. Dr. Clement Park joins us right now. Doc, thanks for your time here on Newsnight. This matter's come up again. Of course, the suppliers are now picketing, sleeping the premises of the Food Buffer Stock Company. What more do you know? Have you been briefed at all on the situation?
Well, Evans, let me say good evening to you and MFA, as well as listeners across the country and beyond. And to indicate that the Committee on Education has not been formally briefed by the minister or the CEO of the Ghana Buffer Stock Company. We haven't also heard from the managers of our secondary schools. But from what I know, given that I've had a particular interest in matters of this nature over the years, and in particular, since the inception of the free senior high school policy and its implementation, is that there shouldn't be any reason whatsoever why government should owe the suppliers whom government itself has contracted to supply food to our secondary schools. I say so because the statistics available to me indicate that between 2017 and 2023, at least 11.9 billion Ghana cedis has been allocated to finance the program. If you were to look at just between 2020 and 2023, in 2020, the total allocation to finance the program as approved by Parliament was 2.4 billion. In 2021, it was 1.97 billion. In 2022, it was 2.3 billion. And the current year in question, 2023, is 3 billion. So why is government owing buffer stock suppliers in an amount that is even less than 300 million, and that has occasioned these suppliers to come from across the country to picket and to reside in the premises of the Ghana Buffer Stock Food Company.
What should happen now, Dr. Clement Park?
Hello?
What must happen now to fix this problem?
Oh, I mean, hearing what these suppliers are saying, Evans, it is even adding a lot more, if you like, dimensions to what we thought we knew. Originally, we had thought that there was only one group of suppliers contracted legitimately and legally to do this job, and that these were the suppliers who were collectively owed, they said, 270 million. But we are now hearing that in addition to the suppliers who are currently picketing and sleeping at the premises of the Ghana Buffer Stock Food Company, the Buffer Stock Company itself and the Ministry of Education is engaging another group of suppliers to supply food.
Well, that's not proven yet. It has been an allegation. Is it something that
yes,
the committee
that is what I'm saying. I'm saying that we are now getting different dimensions to an issue that we thought was much more straightforward.
Will you look into it at least?
Yes, my own take is that this definitely requires an invitation to the Minister for Education and the National Buffer Stock Food Company CEO to come to Parliament to explain to us exactly what is going on. But what I can say is this. The information I am getting across the country indicates that if action is not taken, like it or not, we would experience challenges in as far as supply of food to the secondary schools are concerned. So the president ought to step in and make sure that these matters are resolved as soon as possible.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Clement Park. Grateful for that. This is something you're watching pretty closely, trying to check with the schools what the situation there is. Has it spilled over yet into our schools? We'll bring you the latest as and when we get it.
I must also add that we've tried to speak to the National Food Buffer Stock Company, both the CEO, Abdul Wahab Hanan, and then also his deputy, as well as the communications director of the company. It's been unsuccessful so far. So when we're able to get them, we'll bring that to you. But let's head to Pediase, shall we?
Let's do. And this is a place I love to drive to.
Yeah.
I mean, just when I'm relaxing on a Saturday, I'll just take a ride up the Bree Mountains. It appears that that may be a challenging thing to continue to do because of what has been happening there today. The Eastern Regional Minister, Seth Kwame Champon, has ordered owners of a property on the Pediase Mountain to take immediate remedial measures to stop stones and sand from falling off onto that road. The minister stormed the area in the company of the Eastern Regional NADMO officials after Joy News report on the road this morning. Motorists who used the 5.9 kilometer stretch, like myself, to Pediase to Ayi-Mensah areas there, experienced one thing today that left many of them worried because it put lives in jeopardy. The road they've been describing the current state of the stretch as a death trap due to the incessant nature with which stones and debris has been washed down and falling off onto the road. This morning, motorists were greeted with a substantial amount of sand and stone on the road, obstructing movement of vehicles on the Pediase Ayi-Mensah bound stretch, reducing the two-lane into a single lane.
I had been so many times.
It is a major source of concern to us. I've applied this road for years. Initially, it was only water dripping from the mountain, but now both water and patches of rocks pose serious danger because you can't see your way clearly. I believe that the construction of houses on the mountain is causing the challenge. This is a major accident waiting to happen if nothing is done to fix it. We are only praying that the appropriate authorities will immediately take action because the net covering it doesn't solve the issue.
Well, we interacted earlier with the Greater Accra Regional Director of the Ghana Highway Authority, Engineer Emmanuel Obudai, and he blamed the siting of buildings wrongly for the situation and asked the assemblies to act, even though previous caution had been ignored.
Yeah, I'm saying that we have a mobile maintenance unit that I have called as an immediate intervention for them to come and clear the debris. They are stationed at Suhum, so they are organizing themselves to come to the site.
But really, can you tell us if there's a long-term solution to this particular challenge? We are there almost every time when this incident occurs. Are there any interim measure or long-term measures or solutions to this? Because it looks like the mesh is not working.
Yeah, for every engineering intervention, we always have things that can easily destroy it. Let's say if you build a house and then you bring a bulldozer across it, the house will definitely come down. We looking at the top, you will see very massive development going on there. And then if you look at the type of rock that is on the hill, I mean the hill, the type of material that is made of, once it's soaked and get saturated, it will move. And that's exactly what is happening. They have exposed the whole top, the whole surface to direct water.
But are we not concerned, Engineer Odai, that this could be a disaster waiting to happen?
Yes, and that's why I'm saying that we have to tackle the main source.
So that's the Greater Accra Regional Director of the Ghana Highway Authority. My colleague Carlos Kaloni has been there all day. He's returned to the studio. So, Carlos, you raised this particular concern of the Highway Authority with the two assemblies that you interacted with, the Equiapim South and Kitase. What did they say about the wrong siting of some of the buildings there?
So actually, reacting to these concerns over the siting of the property, the MC for Equiapim South Municipal Assembly, Frank Edu, said the owner of one of the properties there, which is the biggest hotel on that stretch, actually has a permit. But a few others on that stretch do not have permit. But the Eastern Regional Minister actually said that the Regional Coordinating Council is actually going to collaborate with the Municipal Assembly to examine if the structures there are to be demolished or not.
Has permit. It was here even before the road was expanded, so part of its land was even taken and was compensated. At the time, Highways should have demolished this building, but they didn't do that. Currently, we are in sort of negotiation with the owner. What he is saying is that once the assembly will be able to compensate him, he's ready to let it go.
I cannot say yes, it should be demolished. No, because I think the man in the first place even ceded some of the property, his property, to the road construction, you see. And so, well, I stand for, if the technocrats say it should be, I have no say. I think it should be compensation, so the man doesn't also lose his property.
And Carlos, so what about the regional minister? You met him there as well. What was the assurance that he gave?
So he was concerned about the rate at which the stones were falling onto the road. But Evans, I need to give you some little background to it. These stones that we're talking about are rocks from the top hill of the mountain falling onto the road with some sand and debris, actually. So he's so much concerned about the fact that this keeps happening. But he attributed the situation to some contractors who are actually working on the hill, and so anytime it rains, it carries all the debris all the way from the top down to the drains there.
As we are here, the community is also being developed. The driveway of the community is being developed by a certified contractor of the community. He's building the road structure. The road structure he's building, we have come to realize that some of the sub-base material he's using to develop the road corridor was also washed away by the runoff, and it went through a gully which is beyond the structure we are standing by. And so a combination of the failure of the retaining wall here, as well as the runoff washing the subgrade material off the road carriageway through a gully behind us here, came together and fell off, because that is the lowest exit point from this area. And so all of them collected and exited there and came to lie on the carriageway in the descent from Ebri to Accra. That's why we got what we got this morning.
And thankfully, Senator Champon joins us, and many of you will still be using that stretch. So let me give you the very latest on that. Let's speak to him. He's a regional minister, also the chair of the Regional Security Council. Mr. Champon, thanks for your time here on Newsnight.
Thank you very much, Evans. How are you and your team?
We're doing great, and great to have you. So what's the status of that stretch tonight? And many people will still be driving both to Eburi and into Accra. So advise us. What should you do when you get to that stretch, based on what we know happened this morning?
We're just asking commuters to be cautious. We have some workmen on the road trying to clear off the debris so that we would be all offered opportunity to use the corridor as it was designed. So we only would plead with users of the corridor who have not experienced some of these runoffs, creating uncomfortable situations on the corridor for road users. We'll plead with the commuters to bear with us, but we are working at it immediately to clear off all the debris so the road will be free of the debris. But like your report said, we are looking at the matter with the engineering coordinating team. You know, in every region, we have what you call the engineering coordinating team. That is a formation of all engineering bodies within the economy. You have some in the road sector, you have some in the works and housing sector. All over, we have some in the assembly. So all of us put together, we sit and look at the engineering matters of the region. So we are looking at how best we'll navigate around this matter. We've met and taken some decisions, and we know that most of these decisions are going to be enforced soon. Legally, we would work with the Attorney General's office to grant us advice on the way forward and some of the actions we have to take to bring some sanity to the place.
The highways is very clear that this is because of the unauthorized siting of structures and building on that hill there. Why are you allowing that to happen when the laws clearly from the highways point of view should not be happening? They blame the assembly, but ultimately you are the head of that region.
Thank you very much. I don't think this is a matter of a blame game. Ideally, we live in a society where the community keeps growing. The infrastructure you find around, most of them predates my entry into office. That aside, the assembly is in court. The municipality of the Ikuapem South was already in court with some developers in the area. We live in a country where we have law as the rule of the day. So we are in application of the rule of law. Evans, you know, you can't just go when people have occupied a parcel of land over 12 years. There's authority in this country that when people occupy land for 12 years and you do not go and contest, it becomes their property. When they have developed something on it and you haven't been able to get them off it, you go and break your property, it's a damage to the property. You may be against the rules that governs our existence. And so we are careful. That's why I said we would take advice from the experts, the engineering coordinating committee, as well as the Attorney General's office on steps that will not encumber the assemblies as well as the coordinating council in the steps we take in bringing sanity to the place.
As we speak tonight, the Pedrasi Ayi-Mensah stretch descending, is that road blocked or is free to traffic?
It is free to traffic. We have blocked, it's a dual carriageway. So we have used road barriers to caution road users. So as we approach that area where we found the debris, we have road barriers mounted that would indicate to any user that you would then veer into a single lane in your descent. Usually, because it's a dual carriage lane, two commuters can use the same corridor side by side and drive. But if you get to that portion, it will only have to key and one go and the other pursue and follows up.
Thank you very much, sir. And that's the regional minister there for the Eastern region talking to us about the challenge tonight. So if you're driving there tonight, that's the advice. Please keep your eyes peeled and drive carefully, especially if you're descending from the Pedrasi to Ayimensa stretch. He just explained that one side of that lane has been blocked, but you can still circumvent it and follow the road signs. Be safe on that stretch. And another challenge, and George, I know you use that stretch quite often. That place is pretty dark at night also. Parts of it, you still have parts of it with, street lights, other parts still dark. And so you still need to be absolutely careful.
I'm not the only person who like that route. I mean, Lexus as well, because he likes to walk with his friends.
Walk with Lexus. That's where you go.
I mean, it's a nice scenery and place that you always want to use.
It's my favorite place, actually, in the entire Greater Accra
So I think that they should move fast to put the place in order. And also enforcing the laws. I mean, if they are not supposed to put structures there, let's do it now before even the education about people occupying a land for more than 12 years and how they can now move to own that property. So they should act fast.
George, what do you have in the headline?
Well, events coming up in business. Ghana set for first IMF program review in September this year. A move that could see the country secure $600 million before the end of this year and also result in some positive response from donors and investors. And economist Professor Peter Korte makes a strong case for a supplementary budget as Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta works to present a mid-year review of the 2023 budget estimates. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Alliance Life and Ghana Pay.
Business a bit news to say. So the projections from the first quarter show a higher total gross profit for the fiscal year. A bit me kasa say
Nana, goods not land you. He did the port right.
A bit me to say.
Here are your items. Thank you for coming.
Yes, 2 for 10 cedi, me no 10 cedi, 2 for 10 cedi.
However you do business, wherever you do business, MTN Business has a solution for you. Join us on 14th July at the Kumasi Mall and 28th July at the Rollins Park in Accra Central. To learn how to do more and stay ahead of the pack, visit mtn.com.gh/business or call or WhatsApp 0244 308111 for enquiries. It's time to scale up this July with MTN.
MTN.
Son, we are so proud of you for setting up this hospital. I really love those hospital beds and waiting chairs. By the way, did you import them?
No, Dad, I didn't. I actually got them from Kingdom Books and Stationery right here in Ghana.
Wow. We also bought our office supplies, safes, executive desks and chairs from Kingdom, and they gave us expert advice on how to set up our office.
Guys, that makes 3 of us. I also got our sofa and bedroom sets, plus our dining hall furniture for our new home from Kingdom.
Wow, Mom, that makes 4 of us. I usually get my stationery items from Kingdom, and my teacher also mentioned that our classroom furniture was provided by Kingdom.
So there you have it. Whenever you're thinking about setting up an office or acquiring furniture for your home, etc., Kingdom Books and Stationery should be your first point of call. With over 40 years experience in the industry, we stock and supply a wide variety of globally sourced office and home furniture, stationery and equipment. Visit our head office, Osu Akwaje, or our office near the Osu Stadium. We're also in Tema Community 1, opposite Olam SHF, Kumasi KNUST campus, UCC Cape Coast, and now at the Marina Mall, Airport City. Or call us 0302 764101, 764209, or 762792. Visit our website www.kingdomgh.com.
Naija people with the yarn better to big.
For Italian League, Osimhen goals can't be like 5 and 6. Bruh! The Ballon d'Or remain no.
Jaruma. Only you? 250k for phone call. 1 million kwa for face-to-face meeting.
No one tells a story like we do. Stream live football, local and international shows on Showmax, Africa's original streaming service. Sign up at showmax.com.
Do you know Flamingo Paint has superior properties than any other paint brand on the market? Listen, when you take 1 bucket of Flamingo Paint, it's equal to several buckets of any paint brand on the market. So, Flamingo has superior hiding properties, superior coverage, it means it covers, and superior durability. Flamingo Paint, superior hiding. Flamingo Paint, superior coverage. Flamingo Paint, superior durability. Flamingo Paint, Simply superior. No matter your water needs, Syntex has it all. Syntex tank was first to introduce double layer tank, and now you can have as many layers as you want. Syntex tank was first to introduce white inner layer tanks in Ghana, and now introduces the customer specs order, which will let you order any color and size you want. Syntex tanks gives you the biggest warranty of 7 years, which no other tank gives you. So whatever your water consumption, size of project, or demand, choose Syntex tank. Syntex tank, stress-free. Syntex tank, reliable. Syntex tank, maximum guarantee. Call 0244 335 168, Kumasi 0505 555 666, or visit syntexgh.com. Syntex tank, a strong, a tough.
Media Sambisanda mo. Eti emrantia no. Mumu hwan pa na tumi hwe na mo bodompe mo ma na yakono.
Eye kwabna.
Na mumu hwan so na tumi just mali me ma yene nyina de.
Eye kojo.
Enu kro. Kobre tumi hwe na bodompe mo sense o yisu president eba. Ayede aban ne do braye. Bo si echi na mo ho ban na sem ma na ho de ne.
Sa.
Ani na kudwo nso yisu president chako. Na enu ne de e ma wo se wo ye kregen fita. Na watimi asiri bedwo ma na feel you.
Ey kojo.
Yeah. Pepsodent Eba and a Pepsodent Charcoal. Avadie. Yakono natural.
FDIJ Jadion Katoyatu.
Joy Change Speakers Series 5. Imagine democracy without the media. The media is mandated to hold government accountable to the people. It's the most influential vehicle for development. But how is the Ghanaian media discharging this onerous responsibility? What must change? The Joy Change Speakers Series 5 for the second quarter of 2023 has assembled just the right speakers for the topic Media and National Development, Premise, Promise, and Practice. This is on the back of the State of the Ghanaian Media Report of 2023. It's this Saturday, July 8, from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. Speakers, Dr. Animwaa Anim-Addo, Head of Department of Communication Studies, University of Ghana; Esther Ama, CEO, the Ama Institute of Emotional Justice; Professor Amin Al-Hassan, Director General, Ghana Broadcasting Corporation; Afel Moni, former President, Ghana Journalists Association; Suleimana Brima, Executive Director, Media Foundation for West Africa; Cecil Sunkwameos, President, Ghana Independent Broadcasters Association, GIBA. Hosts, Samson Ladi Anyanini and Dr. Theodora Dami Ajintete of the Department of Communication Studies, University of Ghana. Joy Change Speaker Series. Impactful influence for a better Ghana.
Welcome back to Business on Newsnight. Now, Ghana is set for its first IMF program review in September this year. This represents a change from the initial November 2023 date that was captured in the country's program. But how critical is this assessment, and what will be the expected impact on the economy? There is more in this report.
This is the new date that Joy Business has picked up from persons with the knowledge of Ghana's program with the IMF. The country's program with the fund had initially reported that the country will be up for review in November this year. However, Joy Business now understands that the first review is now set to happen in September this year. Passing this review will lead to Ghana receiving its second tranche of funds under the IMF program before the end of this year. It will also trigger additional budget support from the World Bank. However, this will be subjected to the board of the IMF, proving the IMF staff report after their review. Joy Business is learning that Ghana must have some key targets that should help the country pass this first review. This includes finalizing plans to clear all payables, due ministries, departments and agencies, as well as lay plans to reduce future accumulation. They should also finalize a strategy that will strengthen financial sector and rebuild buffers. Managers of the economy should publish an updated energy sector recovery plan, which seeks to remove all subsidies and improve operational performance of state-owned enterprises. There are other quantitative reforms that Ghana must meet by the end of this month. The September program review is also very important because it could trigger fresh funding from other donors like the World Bank and the African Development Bank.
To present a mid-year budget review before the end of this month. However, it's not clear for now whether the minister may go this way, looking at the current challenges facing the economy. But Professor Korte says the finance minister has limited options.
Certainly, there should be a supplementary budget because the IMF funds have come in, new taxes have come in. So a review of what we have now and how we are going to allocate those resources is important.
Economist Professor Peter Korte. Now, GCB has described shareholders' approval for the bank to raise some 1 billion Ghana cedis through right issue as a sign of confidence in management in these times. Now, shareholders of the bank at this annual general meeting give the bank the nod to raise funds to shore up its capital and meet fresh regulatory requirements. Kofi Adomako is managing director of GCB Bank.
It's going to strengthen our balance sheet, reposition the bank where it was before all of this. It's going to also enable us implement certain products, also implement certain projects to improve the bank risk environment and the bank's resilience, also deepen our capacity to do business. Look, if you look all over the world, in North Africa, in Egypt, in South Africa, and even in our own backyard in Nigeria, capital sits with the indigenous banks. It is the indigenous banks that will turn around the economy of this country. GCB therefore needs to be supported where it can. We are not asking to be favored, and that's why our shareholders have behaved the way they did today. We are asking shareholders to see the opportunity and potential in GCB and support us.
Kofi Adomako is the managing director of GCB Bank. Now, Ministry of Communication says it is working to expedite action in passing the legislative instrument for the National Information Technology Agency. The Minister of Communications, Sassy, says the instrument should aid in the regulatory activities in the space. She spoke to Joy Business after a stakeholder meeting to review the legislative instrument for the National Information and Technology Agency.
The lack of effective implementation of these laws becomes more and more apparent with each step that you try to take. And so we realize that let's do this as a matter of urgency. There are other aspects of the act which need to be reviewed, but we will do that. We've actually done a gap analysis, so we know what needs to be done.
Esle Osekufo is Minister for Communications and Digitization. Now, stakeholders in the artificial intelligence sector are cautioning business to strictly adhere to security guidelines associated with the emerging tools in the industry to safeguard their operations. The Data and Intelligence Forum, the Group Vice President of Data Excellence, Leona Benjamin, they urge businesses to adapt and strictly follow the guidelines associated with artificial intelligence to grow their business.
The fact is there are a number of tools out there, and most of these models are developed in the open so that there is a certain level of transparency. You see exactly what is going into it, what composes it, and there are basically rules and guidelines that govern how those models are supposed to be used and deployed. One of the reasons why we are betting on the Microsoft cloud specifically for this is because they have always been known for their data protection laws. So even when you put your models and your data in the Azure cloud, you are guaranteed that as long as you observe the needed security guidelines, your data should be safe.
Vice President of Data Excellence, Leona Benjamin, added to the stock market. If you hold MTN shares, there's a lot to smile about at the end of today because the value of each share held by any stakeholder or shareholder was up by a peso at the end of trading. So based on this development, shares of MTN are now worth 1 Ghana cedi 33 pesos. However, Access Bank lost 10 pesos to close at 3 Ghana cedis, 70 pesos. Total Energies also lost 68 pesos and is now worth 6 Ghana cedis, 12 pesos. And that's all for Business on Newsnight.
Thank you very much, George. Let's do sports. Musbao has a very latest. Hello, Musbao.
Hello, MFR. Well, let's talk about the Africa Games, because contractors at the University of Ghana Stadium say they are left with only 30% of work ahead of March 2024's Africa Games. A team made up of the university's Vice Chancellor, Professor Nanaba Apia Amfo, Minister for Sports, Mustafa Yusuf, LOC Chairman, Dr. Kweku Ofosu Asari, and other LOC members this morning inspected the facility at Legon, which will be used for the games. The rugby field has been pegged at 70% complete, while there is work left to be done at the Diaspora Halls of Legon. Dr. Ofosu Asari, who is the LOC chairman, says Ghana will host the best ever Africa Games.
The government of Ghana is so committed to doing these games. You know that since 1965, this is the first time we are getting the opportunity to host the games. And the president has given us every assurance, despite the challenges we are having. COVID, what have you, Ukraine. I'm not a politician anyway. But what is going on recently, elsewhere, I have spoken to so many African countries. Elsewhere, they would have pulled out. But our government is committed to getting things done. And we are hoping that we will host the games and to be one of the best ever in the history of the games.
Su Asari, chairman of the local organizing committee of the games there. That's it for Sports MFO, but just earlier in the day, Manchester United unveiled Mason Mount, and what has gotten a lot of people talking is the jersey number he's been given, number 7, taking over from Cristiano Ronaldo, and it appears a number of Manchester United fans are not happy about it.
Why aren't they happy?
Because they said a Chelsea player coming to Manchester United and they're giving him their jersey number 7. I'm not sure why that's the case, but well, not sure even if Vivans has anything to say.
Mason Mount does not deserve
number 7.
Okay. He's a very ordinary player.
All right.
He's an average player.
Okay, that's it for sports, brought to you by Pepsodent Herbal and Charcoal. Pepsodent, every smile matters.
Thank you very much, Musbao. Now let's head to the Ashanti region. Let's talk about the Syria Regional Hospital. We know that there's been talk about why it's been abandoned for so long. We've been hearing from the Presidential Advisor on Health, Dr. Anthony Nsiasari, on this, assuring that the road has been awarded on contract. But Anaya Ojima has been back to the area. Here's his report.
Health Minister Kweku Ajiman Menu, during a visit to the facility, noted the challenges with power and road have delayed the opening of the facility.
The inside the hospital road is part of the contract. But from Sewa town or from the major road to this place is supposed to be done by government. Here is virtually completed. All the equipments are in place. They are not bringing any new thing.
Presidential Advisor on Health, Dr. Anthony Nsiasari, speaking on the probe on Joy News, indicated the power supply has been installed, with some work being done on the roads.
That one is also being given. The contract has been given out, is being done. So Sewia is practically completed.
Love FM's visit to the hospital using the Prabon Sewa route indicates the road is in a poor shape, dusty and bumpy. Motorists have to navigate their way through the gaping potholes with tact. The widening potholes pose danger to road users.
For about 4 years now, the road has remained poor. They usually come to grade the road and leave it. The road to the hospital is worse.
It has been over 4 years since drains and bridges were constructed on the stretch, but residents have had their hopes of a tarred road dashed for years. A bridge well constructed in the middle of the road is not utilized fully, as one end of the construction is left uncompleted.
2 weeks ago, an accident nearly happened at the spot. The drivers didn't notice each other. If the bridge was fully done, this wouldn't happen.
A drive to the Sewa Hospital is not a pleasant one. A decision to use the Feyasi route to exit the area was no different. Though the route is shorter, there is no sign of road construction. George Ejay, who is station master at the local taxi rank, says contractors packed out of the site months ago.
The contractor milled the entire stretch, so we were waiting for the construction of the road itself. The drains were all done. Later, we noticed the contractor had taken away all equipment from site.
It remains unclear when Sewa Government Hospital will be opened to the public to help improve access to healthcare in the Ashanti region. For Joy News, Nanaya Ojima reporting.
And it's official. When we're talking about schools in the Greater Accra region, we're talking Presec Legon, we're talking Accra Academy, Chimu SHS and Tema Methodist. I was wondering what happened to that school close to Cantonment that's supposed to be a school. They are nowhere near the regional championship. Presec.
Yeah. We don't compete in regional championship. We only do the national championships. That's
national.
why you're not here. We're not going to, spend,
How do you go national when you can't even win? You are not even local champions. You want to win national champion.
Yeah, we are not interested in local. That's the whole point.
Okay.
We are national or international.
Well, Presec is local and national. Local and national, they are taking it for the 4th time in a row. They are hoping to get it for the 8th time national level after Ola. So we'll see how that goes.
You are actually now laughing at your own school.
No, I'm not laughing at Aquinas.
It
doesn't look like God is
that
an
laughter
author.
came after I mentioned Ola.
Oh.
But in fact, when you mentioned Aquinas, you had a stern face.
We are launching our anniversary tomorrow. Prestige Girls, because you are nowhere there. Even regional, you didn't win.
Really?
They didn't. They didn't.
But MFI is talking how far along
Ola
has your
is the regional champion.
No problem.
Volta region. We are the champion.
I'm asking
we
you
are
a
seeded
question.
school as well.
Can I ask
Which
you a
question? Don't ask
In the
me the
history
question.
of NSMQ, how far has your school won?
Quarterfinals. Let's
We are
talk about
still
yours.
ahead. We've gone
Where?
to semis.
Semis, okay, we are
Yes.
going semis this year.
See, those of us who won it before, we are quiet.
How many times?
Watching all of you slag it out.
One day, glory.
Anyway, you put your time is off. It's finished.
But who has invited you?
So please.
We haven't handed over yet.
What are you talking about tonight?
We're talking about, do women listen when men speak?
Yes.
No.
Men don't listen.
Do you know,
when
I
women
posted it. Almost all the guys in my ADN were like, you people.
My question, my follow-up to that is, what do you listen with? Which part of your body do you listen with?
Eyes,
ears,
If you answer that question,
definitely not our ears.
exactly my point. Thank you very much. You just answered my question. So if listening is done with the ears, and women just admitting right now yourself that you don't listen with your ear, then the question about listening doesn't come up at all.
We use our eyes and everything
you
because we
listen
need
with
to
your
see your
We
body
listen with
language.
everything but our ears.
by the ears.
Oh.
Exactly. So you
The
don't
number of times I'm having a conversation with a guy and he's like, are you listening to what I'm saying?
No.
Then I'll conclude. So did you hear what I said? So are you listening? And I've heard so many times people say that, like, women, when you're having a conversation with a woman, she's having her own conversation
In the
with
head,
herself,
with herself
which has
and
nothing
everything.
to do with what you're
Then
saying.
she'll conclude at
And
the
then
end.
you are in trouble. And it's like, so tonight we want to
That's not always the
explore.
case. It's not always the case.
No, when it comes to money issues, we are collecting money, counting down, and then we hear.
If you conclude that listening is only done with the ear, and then you also conclude that
not only
women
done with
do
the
not
ear.
listen with the ear, then
Listening
you
is
can't talk
not
about
just
listening.
with the ear.
It's
though.
with where
Oh, it's not just the ear. You need your eyes. You need everything.
You listen with your
everything.
eyes.
Yeah. Oh, me, I listen with my eyes. Why? With my eyes and ears. I can't just listen with my
concerned
ear
with her
alone.
eyes.
Everything. I need to read your body language. Everything.
There's only a woman who will tell you that I listen with my eyes.
It's
And nose.
only a woman
Only
who
a
will say,
woman.
I use
Everything.
my eyes.
To listen.
Anyway, so that's what we're talking about. So stay tuned.